Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a car review on my 1995 Ford Probe SE. So let's go ahead and take a quick walk around to the vehicle, and then we'll pop the hood and go take a look on the inside, and we'll take it for a ride. So some backstory on this car is it was bought in Wyoming back in 95, then at 8,000 miles it was sold back to the dealership, and it lived most of its life in New Mexico, and now it's up here in the Midwest. So it is rust-free, it's really clean, and I do have the 2.0 4-cylinder with the 5-speed manual transmission that mates to the front wheels. So let's take a look under the hood really quick. So this car, before I got it, I'm the newish owner of it. I've had it for a few months now. It did sit for about 4 years, but she's back from the dead. We've put in a new starter, new distributor, done an oil change. We've had a new mass airflow sensor put in, and a new brake master cylinder, and also a newish battery. But yeah, so here's my engine. Just like I said, it's also a dual overhead cam. Fuel injected 2.0 liter, 2 liter 4-cylinder. So yeah, now let's go ahead and take a look inside. So as you can see, this vehicle does have pop-up headlights, which we'll get a look at in a second. So let's take a look, jumping in the back real quick. Don't mind me, gotta move my goodies. So this vehicle, you know, it's not the greatest in terms of getting into the back seat, but it could be worse. So yeah, let's crawl back here. And I'm seated behind myself at 5'11", and this is kind of like a more casual position. And it's really not that bad back here. You know, you can shut the door, and, you know, I have a little bit of wiggle room. And then this is as far back as the seat goes here. And I think it is a little bit leaned back as well, but it's really to me it's a nice space to be. With the forward leaning B-pillars, it definitely does kind of give you a little bit a feeling of more room. So yeah, let's go ahead and I'll actually take a look at the trunk, because that is one thing that is very surprising to some people. So as some may know, this is on the same platform as the Mazda MX-6 and 626, but the thing that the Probe got was a lift back, and you could fit a whole lot in here. I've got all my tools, got, you know, subwoofer, liquids, other goodies. I can still fold the seats down and take out this panel, and I could probably fit something like a surfboard in here. So let's take a look at our pop-up headlights. It's you know, to me, it's the main selling point of this car. It definitely, with the headlights up, to me, it doesn't really give too much of an aggressive look to it, but it gets the job done. So, yeah, let's go ahead and take her for a ride. So, as I said, we do have a 5-speed manual. So let's go ahead and we'll get our key. So we do have 123,000 miles on this vehicle. Start it up. Don't forget seatbelt. So this vehicle does have power steering, power brakes, air conditioning. This is a aftermarket head unit, but I do not have fog lights, nor do I have the equalizer that would go right here. But honestly, this is a good little storage spot. All right, well, let's get going. So one thing I gotta say I really enjoy about this vehicle is all of the inputs, such as steering, gas, clutch, brake, shifter. They're all very easy to do. You know, it's a very straightforward vehicle. You know, as you can see by the gauge cluster, it's kind of built for dummies. But but it still gets the job done. I don't have any bozo gauges such as what might be found in older vehicles. So, you know, let's go ahead real quick, take it for a spin around the development. So one thing that I gotta say, but it's another thing that I've enjoyed about this vehicle, is it handles, you know, like a sports car, but it doesn't really ride like a sports car all the time. You know, it definitely has more of an economy car ride to it, which, you know, makes this thing pretty comfortable. And, you know, you could comfortably sit 4 people, so it's a good daily driver. It's fun to drive, and it gets really good gas mileage. So, and if you're wondering, I do not have an exhaust on this. I have a decent sized exhaust leak. Another thing too that has surprised me with this vehicle, and I've owned it for about 4 or 5 months now, is it has a surprising amount of power from just a little 4-cylinder. You know, it just... it definitely gets up and goes a lot quicker than many would think. So a little bit of backstory on the probe itself is, so this here is the 2nd generation probe. And so the 1st generation came out in 1988, and it was originally supposed to be the replacement for the Mustang. But since it was going to be front wheel drive with no V8 option, Mustang fans were really not happy, and they started ordering like IROCs, like, you know, Camaros. And so Ford decided to keep the Fox body until 93, and then it came out the SN 95 in 94. But the problem was they already started making the probes in 88, and they already had, you know, a deal with Mazda at the time to use the motors and the drivetrains, and so they, you know, came up with a name and they slapped probe on it. And the 1st generation sold really well because they were, you know, fun little cars, and they were cheap, like they were dirt cheap. And so in 91 they decided to come out with the 2nd generation, which is this one. This came out in this generation came out in 92. But as the 90s went on, they started losing sales. And so in 97, that's when they axed the probe altogether. But they did have a 3rd generation concept, which apparently some of the design elements they were put onto the Mercury Cougar. But there's one concept car, I think it was made in the 80s. The concept cars were actually used in one of the Back to the Future movies when they went forward in time. And, you know, it's something that a lot of people don't know. Alrighty, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hope to see you guys in the next one. So have a good one.